Hello, this is Dustin Stuckey, and I'm going to walk you through how to use my Forensics Tournament Manager software through Google Sheets. To start off, you're going to need to get the Google Sheet. You can do that at one of two places. You can either go to my webpage, Stuckey Tech Solutions, and then click on Forensics Tournament Manager, and click on Get Forensics 4 and 6TM, or you can go to 4and6tm.blogspot.com and click Get Tournament Manager right there. I'm just going to click here. And then it says make a copy. I'll make a copy. And this is going to generate a spreadsheet that is yours. And it's always going to say copy of up here. And I'm just going to call this one demo. Just change the name to something that you're going to remember so that you can find it in your Google Drive later. And then once it's done loading, it'll say Tournament Manager up here. Click on that. The first thing we want to do is set up our tournament. And it's going to ask for authorization here. You have to click OK and continue. Click Select All. I can explain what each one of these is doing. If you're going to use your Forensics Tournament Manager to send invoices, it's got to be able to use your Gmail. It makes files. It's going to create documents here. It's going to edit documents, and it's going to load menus. So that's what it's going to display here. No matter what, even if you don't want to send invoices using this system, you still have to check this box. It's just never going to be accessed otherwise. So I'm going to click on Continue. And we got the setup menu up. So now we're going to put in our tournament name. I'm just going to call this one Demo. And we'll just have it today. And if I hit select all events, then that's going to select all of the regular 3A, 4A events. If you want an event that is not on this list, you can add events here. So let's say I want humorous interpretation. I can just put it in this add custom event, click on add event, and then it comes up in the list. I'm just going to go ahead and take that one off. This is the number of entries for the minimum number of, maximum number of entries that will show up on your form. If you're sending out a form, you don't have to send out the custom built form. You can send out just a spreadsheet of your own design, or even this spreadsheet if you'd like for your coaches to do their input. But I'm going to click on set events, and we're going to see that changes things behind here. We've got all those events listed here. And then I can click on create form. This is going to generate that form that I can send out. Again, you don't have to use that system. You can just send out this spreadsheet if you would like and have teams put in their data directly. But I find having that form is pretty helpful. So once I see that it says form responses down here, I'm going to click on close, because now I can see all those responses come in. Just to make sure that everything looks good, I'm going to click on tools here, go to manage form, edit form. This is going to pull up the form that was generated by the system. And you probably want to change the name to, represent what your tournament is. And then the main thing you need to make sure you do before you send this out is click over here where it says published, and see right here where it says responders. Right now mine is limiting my responders to anybody in my school district. I need to change that so that I can have other people attend my tournament. So I'm going to say anyone with the link can fill this out. All right. And then, of course, you'll want to copy that responders link and email that out. So I'm going to go back to this, and let's just pretend that we have our data filled in. I'm just going to pull data from the tournament that I had to cancel. Copy this whole spreadsheet over here to Teams. All right, I'm going to delete out some emails here and just put in my own email address. And you'll see why here in a minute, why I'm doing that. So, all right. Now, I've got all of my entries in here, so I know how many people are going to be in each event, I'm going to go ahead and click on Set Event Totals. This is something that you don't really need to do until probably well, I guess it depends on if you're using this to figure out how many rooms you're using. But you click on that whenever you're pretty confident you've got correct numbers from your teams that are visiting. And now we can see I've got my totals all calculated up in this tab. And I can see how many rooms I need based on an average of, or maximum of 8 contestants per room. And I can see over here on average how many people are going to be in the room. Let's say on poetry, 7.3, that means I'm going to have 8 competitors in some of those rooms. I'm going to up that to 4. I'm just going to add one more room in there. And then everything else looks pretty okay. 7 competitors per room on a couple of 1-room events. That's fine with me. Okay, so now I can do, well, there's one other thing I can do real quick here. You see where it says room names? I'm going to put in some room names here. There we go. I just pasted those in from my other spreadsheet that I was using for my tournament that I canceled. And you can see I've got 1 room here, 1 room needed. So I'm just going to put in 1 room name. So this is the name of the teacher that has that classroom. And then that's 1. This needs 2 rooms. So what I'm going to do is in this one cell in the E column, I'm going to put 2 names separated by a comma and a space. So it's Harmon, comma, space, Bellinger. So that allows me to use 2 rooms for that event. I just need to make sure that I've got 4 here. I've got 4 names. I've got 3 here. I've got 4 names here. Let's take one of those off. All right. 1 room. HSA, I don't have any because I was actually going to cancel this. Let's go ahead and put that in a room. Let's give it Smith's room. Okay. Everything else looks pretty good here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Make Schedule. This is something you want to do pretty close to when you know exactly how many people are going to be here. I wouldn't do this until the Friday night before a Saturday tournament. But when I do this, what it's going to do is first it's asking me for draw times. So we're going to have our first draw at 7:45 in the morning. Our first draw for round 2 is going to be at 9:15. And for round 3, it's going to be at 10:45. Let's sort those rounds. So now what it's doing is it is, first of all, creating a document that's going to have all of our room schedules in it. It's sorting our competitors into each room. And it's doing that with a few priorities. The first priority is that every room will have the same amount of people in it, or nearly the same amount of people in it. The second priority is that teammates won't go against each other, especially A and B teammates won't go against each other in a room. The third thing is if competitors have already gone against each other, we're going to try to keep them from going against each other again. And once that's created, you can see that it automatically pulled me over to this TM data tab down here, and we've got that schedule, a link to that schedule right here. So I pulled that schedule up, and we can see that it went ahead and generated a draw and perform time column for me, because I said that first draw was at 7:45, and it has 10-minute intervals. If you want to change that, you'll have to do that manually. Maybe you don't want extemp to be 10 minutes, maybe you want it to be 7 minutes. Well, unfortunately, the system does not do that. It doesn't generate that automatically. So if you want to make that change, you're going to have to make that change here. And this is just a 1 room, and we've got the name of the room here and the competitors. Again, a 1-room event. Let's see. Here we've got 2 different rooms, and we're trying to keep A and B separated. You can see that we've done that pretty well. We kept the rooms the same size roughly. You know, if we've got 5 in this and 4 in that, you know, can't do much better than that with 9 entries in an event. And we're trying to keep each round a little bit different. So you can tell that, you know, with only 9 competitors in 2 rooms, it's difficult. As we get more and more rooms for bigger events, it does a better job of keeping those competitors from competing against exactly the same people in each round. You can still review it if you're not quite sure. Go through and review and make sure that it looks good to you. Again, with smaller sets, it's more difficult. So here's our IDA, and we've got draw, and perform 30 minutes later, obviously, and 10 minutes separating each one of those. Everything looks pretty good here to me, so I'm ready to move on. I would print these out, put them in my team registration packets, and post them all over the school outside of each room so that competitors know which room they're competing in. All right, let's go back to our tournament manager. So we've done all of that. Now we're ready to make some invoices. So I'm going to create an invoice. And this is going to bring up our menu for the invoice. It defaults to $5 for each event. I'm going to up that to $10 for my two-person events. And we're going to make that payable to OCHS Forensics. I'll create those invoices. And what this is doing is it is creating a invoice for each team based on that teams tab over here. So we can see each one of these teams is going to get an invoice with this data involved. I'm going to pause recording just because this does take a little bit of time. All right, there we go. We can see now we've got this invoice folder link in that same TM data tab that I was talking about earlier with the room schedule. So let's click on that, and that's going to bring up each of our invoices here. So click on a school, and we can see what their invoice is. Everything's looking good to me. So what I'll do next is I'm going to go ahead and send that invoice. Now, this is why earlier I changed their email addresses to my own so that they won't be getting this. But right here, I can type in what I want the message to be. Please pay. Please pay by next Friday. And I'm going to click send here. And now it's going to go into this folder, find each one of those invoices and send a message to that school. Now I've got to pull up my email. I'll show you what those look like. This is what the email message will look like. Oops. Oh my goodness. Why can't I? There we go. Now I got it dragged down where I can see it. So this is what that email is going to look like. This is the body text that I typed in. It automatically has the rest of this. And then it's got the invoice attached. So I can open that, print that, and get that filed so we can get paid. The next thing on the list here is create tab sheet. And this is going to generate the sheet that you will use during the tournament. And really, I don't run this part of it until the day of the tournament. What I'll do is, as teams arrive, if they're giving me drops, I will go and edit that right here. I'll edit all of these to match any of those drops that we've had, or if we've got somebody adding an entry, we'll go ahead and put those adds in here. And then once all that's in, probably once round 1 has started, if I've got a lot of changes, I'm not just going to create a tab sheet. I'm going to click set event totals again and change this data and make sure you copy these room names before you do that, because those will get eliminated. We don't want to lose those. So let's copy those, paste them somewhere else, and then we'll paste them back in here. But you can set those event totals again at the beginning of the day, or maybe during round one, when everybody's going already. Set those event totals so that we can rebalance those rooms. We have to put out new room schedules. Sometimes when you've got a lot of changes, if you've got a lot of drops, that's going to be beneficial. But either way, I'll do all those drops and everything before I click on Create Tab Sheet. So now I'm going to click Create Tab Sheet, and we've got a couple different options here. We can either have Cutthroat, Cumulative, or Reciprocal. Both these top ones will generate a document that has, or a spreadsheet that has a spot for quality points. Reciprocal will not. That's what I'm going to select now. That's what the state tournament is going to be doing this year. So we're going to go ahead and run with Recips. So this is creating a whole new spreadsheet that's going to have all those entries in it for all those different events. Each event will have its own tab along the bottom of the screen. I'm not going to walk through too much of that in this video, just because it says where it's at. I'm going to click OK here. And when I go back to TM data, here we go, right here, tab sheet. That's our link to our tab sheet. I'm not going to walk you guys through how to use this right now, just because that's going to be in a second video. But suffice it to say, each event that we had has its own tab down here, and these competitors, these competitors are pulled directly from this list. So once this is changed, that's going to change this as well. Or I shouldn't say it that way. If I change this now, nothing's going to change over here. So that's why we have to wait. We wait until the last minute, probably during round one, to generate these, so that it will be ready when those ballots start coming in towards the end of round one. But each one of these, and these are in alphanumeric order. We can put room names in here to sort by room, but that's not something that's been used a lot in the past, so I did away with that feature. Anyway, this is the tab sheet that you will be using throughout the day. Let's go back real quick to the Tournament Manager. The last couple things here, we've got a help page. This help page, you can click this, it'll take you to the 4N6TM Blogspot page that has some help information here. Or you can click on Instruction Manual. This is something that I'm currently actively updating. You can see that the video, it says right here, video has not been updated for 2.0. That will be taken away here shortly once I finish this video. Oops, go back here. Finally, we've got this Donate tab. You can click on that, and if you would like to donate to help me out for having created this, you can do that through Venmo here. All right, that really does it for this video. Like I said, there's going to be a whole nother video about how to use this sucker. But for now, I think that does it. I hope that you all have a good season, and hopefully this has been helpful to save you some time. Bye.